All right, next let's talk about the Houston Texans. Talking about a team that got everything right. Hiring of D'Amico Ryans looked great. The team drafting CJ Stroud looked great. Even Will Anderson looked great as well. The young coordinators on this team looked great. And you wondered, wow, the Texans, they make it. They win a playoff game. They do so well this season. They've got to start just absolutely hemorrhaging coaches. This team is going to get picked apart because they've built it and there's so much talent here. Everyone is going to be jealous, but not the case. We have some big news. Texans, not for lack of interviews, but some really key coordinators have decided to come back and give this team one more again. Let's get into the article and we can talk about it on the other side. This is from ESPN. It says Houston Texans rookie quarterback CJ Stroud gets another year to build with his play caller. After interviewing with teams for head coaching jobs, offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick will stay with the Texans for the 2024 season, sources confirmed to ESPN. His new contract includes a significant raise, I would hope so, a source said. Sports Illustrated was the first to report the deal. Slowick interviewed with the Washington Commanders, Seahawks, Panthers, Titans, and Falcons for their job openings. The Panthers, Titans, Falcons all hired other candidates, but the Commanders and Seahawks jobs are still available. Slowick isn't the only part of the Texas offensive brain trust staying put. Sources told ESPN Adam Schefter that their quarterback coach, Gerard Johnson, who is also getting a lot of interviews, will remain in Houston. Nick, this is so big for the Texans. This is big for CJ Stroud just because keeping this, like they called it, brain trust of offensive talent together for one more year is really going to help in the development of this offense and the development of CJ Stroud. Now, next year, if they go on, I think he's going to be on his feet enough to be able to float with whoever comes into that position. But I think this is really big in the development, taking that step in year two for CJ Stroud. I'm very excited for Texas fans. Curious what your thoughts are on this move, but Texas fans, let us know in the comment section below. How excited are you about the Texans coaching staff pretty much staying together? It has got to feel good. Who do you think is the biggest guy staying on the Texans staff as far as impact to the team goes in the comment section below? I know a lot of people say Slowick, but there's got to be some other answers out there as well. Let us know in the comment section below. But Nick, what do you think about Slowick staying with the Texans?
I mean, it's a huge surprise, especially the way this offseason has gone. I thought he would have gotten one of these jobs, if not with Washington or Seattle, maybe some of the jobs that were open earlier in the cycle. Because what he did with CJ Stroud, and we talked about it prior to the season with Houston, what Slowick was going to do coming from that Kyle Shanahan San Francisco 49ers offense. He was going to make life very easy for CJ Stroud, get him on a lot of play actions, get him outside of pocket, take shots down the field for players that are schemed open deep, and CJ Stroud just blew everyone's expectations out of the water. It is clear, 100% undeniable, that Slowick and Stroud are an incredible match for coordinator, quarterback. And look, CJ Stroud's good enough in terms of mentally, physically, the whole package, where I think he'd be successful regardless of who was his coordinator. But you pair an elite quarterback with an elite offensive coordinator, and you throw Gerard Johnson in the mix as well as his quarterback's coach, watch out. And I think that's what we saw from the Houston Texans. Look, we all know the way the season ended with the Baltimore Ravens, right? They got beat. They got pretty handily. But let's not forget the Houston Texans were not in a situation against the Cleveland Browns where a lot of people thought they were going to roll over Cleveland. Certainly not the way they did. They absolutely obliterated a Browns team. A lot of really smart people thought had a great chance to make a Super Bowl run with that Browns defense. Joe Flacco, Stefanski's a veteran coach, and CJ Stroud with Bobby Slowick calling the plays, absolutely, undeniably, and completely obliterated the best defense in football under the brightest of lights in the NFL postseason. That is elite level stuff. And normally when that happens, like you brought up, Mice, you lose guys. You lose some of that brain trust just because other coaches, they just want a piece of that. Other teams just, well, they'll pay whatever just to get one of those coaches on their team. We saw it with the McVay staff for such a long time. We saw it with other coaches under the Shanahan tree. Every coach is like, every team, excuse me, is like, I want to get that coach. I want to get that coach because I want to do what the Texans did. I want to have an offense and a scheme like that. But the fact that Slowick returned to me sends a message that, and this is, I think, the larger theme here, it's the most important part, is that the culture in Houston may be the best in the AFC right now. And that's a credit to D'Amico Ryans because you don't have coaches turning down multi-million dollar dream jobs. It's a dream job for any of these coordinators to be a head coach in the NFL. Bobby Slowick's dream job is to be an NFL head coach. He turned that down because he wants to work under DeMeco Ryans in that Houston Texans culture. He wants to work hand in hand with CJ Stroud. How many people out there would turn down a multi-million-dollar dream job today? I wouldn't. I don't care how good the culture is. I've never been a good culture. I've never been in a culture in my normal work life where I'm like, yeah, I'll turn down millions of dollars in my dream job to leave here. No way. But that's how good Houston is right now. And that's how good the environment under Ryans is. And that's what makes the Texans dangerous. It's not just the greatness of CJ Stroud. We've already seen it. It's not just the great pairing of talent and Stroud with coaching with Slowick. It's the culture in Houston. Slowick turned down his dream job because he wants to work with DeMeco Ryans and wants to work with CJ Stroud and wants to be in the city of Houston and wants to be part of the Texans franchise. That should terrify. That should scare the rest of the AFC. Because what we saw from Houston at the end of 2023 was really good. And going to 2024, they're going to be better and probably a lot better.
Yeah, and you're talking about Houston Texans. You're talking about front office. You're talking about culture. This is something a couple of years ago in the Deshaun Watson era, the Bill O'Brien era of Houston, we never would have thought.
Yeah.
This is a team that had an absolutely abysmal front office culture. This was a team where guys like DeAndre Hopkins, they wanted to leave. They felt forced out. You know, they had bad taste in their mouth because they get traded in the middle of the night for somewhere they didn't think they wanted to. They would never leave. You think of Deshaun Watson, he comes in there. That whole debacle is one thing, but the whole before all of that came out about Watson as well, the whole contract negotiation, sitting out for a whole year, all of that whole mess in Houston. Now we look just 1 year under DeMeco Ryans and this new staff. Everything is different. Players love being here. Everybody's playing hard. Everyone's playing lights out football. And that's probably why they made it so far in the playoffs when everybody probably would have counted them out at the beginning of the season. Rightfully so. New young quarterback, new young coach. I mean, this is a team rebuilding year. They got a year. They got to get something under the belt. This is a team coming into year 2 playoff bound. That everyone says, hey, this is a team that can make it in the playoffs, should make a deep playoff push. So I just think this is great for Houston. I really think this is very interesting as far as Slowick's decisions because, like you said, you get the dream job opportunity. It's something pretty much no one would ever turn down, but it just speaks to how special things are in Houston.
And just to end on, I think it's very clear in terms of this offseason, this is only the beginning, right? This is going to just set the first pillar in motion of other players, free agents that want to come to Houston, maybe on more team-friendly deals. Maybe some of Texans' current free agents or other guys are going to have to make decisions on in terms of salary cap. Maybe they're going to take more team-friendly deals. I bet they will. We're going to see other young, talented coaches want to now come to Houston, right? This is how it all starts. It looks like a terrible culture for so long, like you alluded to, but we're starting to see a 180-degree flip. And right now, this Texans team, they look scary good. I think this offseason is going to be an exciting one for Houston fans. And I think the regular season in 2024 and beyond is going to be even more so. This Texans franchise has turned the corner. They flipped the switch. They're doing things the right way.